Good afternoon, Smite fans, and welcome back to the SPL North America edition today, week 3, the final day of week 3 before we get a bit of a bye week coming in. But if you want to know more about North America right now, let's have a little look towards the standings and see where everybody will start today off. At the top, it's clearly Team Eager, joined by Luminosity, both on 7 points. And at the bottom, we've got Soul Gaming and Flashpoint still desperate to find a win. Both those two teams will play today. And actually, we can move on to the schedule as well. And actually, we'll have a little look there and see what the games you've got to look forward to today in the standings. And here you go. Eager versus In Memory of Gabe with the first match today, followed by Flashpoint versus Noble. Noble will have a roster swap today as well. Draylo will not be playing. Draylo will be playing for Wubben as a heads up, at least in game 1 there. And then Thor versus United, and we'll be rounding out the day with Luminosity versus Allegiance. A lot of spicy games here over in North America. But without further ado, there's not much time to waste. We should get ourselves on with the first set of the day. Going to be heading over to Anatolian Aggro as they bring us Eager versus Memory of Gabe.
Thank you very much, Hindu. Like you mentioned, I'm Aggro. That's Toli. This is North America today. It's a Sunday. We don't have EU and North American games. It's only North America today. I've got my days all worked out this time around. We've got a great set to start it off here. It's In Memory of Gabe up against Eager. And Toli, these are two of the best teams in North America. We should be in for a really great set here.
It should be, but Memory of Gabe did struggle in their Thursday game against Noble, dropping both games in that set. Very surprising. You know, they weren't truly tested before that game against Noble, and then now going against Eager, the question is, can they bounce back mentally after their loss against Noble?
That's a great point. This is still a young team that has not been together for a whole lot of time, and you don't really know how you're going to react to a surprise 0-2 loss like we saw up against Noble. So In Memory of Gabe looking to bounce back up against one of the top teams in North America in Team Eager. Cirquette and Cabrakan going to be the bans for Eager, two that we've seen pretty consistently across both Europe and North America. And two mid laners trying to focus out TheBest here. In Memory of Gabe taking it away from the mid.
Well, TheBest was the MVP for week number 2 based off of his positioning and his performance. The front line from Eager is always very aggressive. It allows TheBest to do everything that a mid-mage dreams of doing. And now having Janus off of those 2 bans, I'm pretty sure Eager's happy about that one.
Yeah, Thor going to be the selection here for Memory of Gabe. Cynosure trying to go with a global ultimate to try and match that of Janus. And Bacchus going to be the selection for Eonic. I'm just left wondering what Hurriwind is going to play because they already banned out 2 mages, and Janus the first selection here for Eager. The mage pool is a little bit low, I would say, right now.
He likes to play Raijin every now and then. He'll experiment that with the burst potential between Bacchus and Thor. Raijin wouldn't be a bad idea. You have those long-range ultimates. Maybe he'll even play a Hunter for all we know. He has experimented with that before in the early parts of Season 3.
Absolutely. Could be an Izanami pick or something along those lines. Uller, we've seen him play before as well, but it's going to be the Agni. So taking a page out of Chaos's book, going into the mid, one of the oldest mid laners in Smite. Not a great early game, but certainly once you can get out of that early game and into the mid and late, Agni brings quite a bit to the table.
Those team fights are going to be really good for Memory of Gabe between their crowd control. You have a long distance Agni bombs done, the wall from Thor, long distance, the setup from Bacchus. There's going to be a lot of burst potential for Memory of Gabe in that mid to late game. As long as they're able to survive any sort of early global pressure that Team Eager's bringing with that draft, they should be in a good spot.
I love this Thanatos ban from Team Eager, showing that they've done their homework up against the Memory of Gabe. You'd think, well, Thanatos is a jungler, so why are they banning it away? Well, Whalrus has played it quite a bit in that solo lane and has had some serious success with it. So Eager, knowing that, take it away. Those are 2 solo bans there between the Thanatos and the Hercules, but they left open the Vamana, and Whalrus is very, very comfortable on the baby.
It's going to be probably the Vamana up against the Terra in the solo lane. This is something that Divios really likes to do. Aror likes to play these warrior support roles instead. It's going to be the Bastet for djpernicus. He's going to be very aggressive, trying to look for diving those towers, and Erlang Shen, more than likely, for Aror.
That's probably right. Yeah, Aror very comfortable on that warrior. Doesn't have that same insane CC potential that we used to see. No longer has the cripple, so Agni, Vamana going to be able to dash out of it. Thor, Bacchus able to jump out as well. Ram going to be able to roll out there for Snoopy on him, one of his most signature gods here. Both teams with a ton of comfort picks across the board. I mean, every character really synergizes well with the one playing them. Eonic on Bacchus maybe a little bit out of character. You usually see him on the Geb and the Kepri, but still definitely very comfortable on this
He's definitely more defensive oriented, I would say Eonic, but playing this Bacchus, it's going to synergize Memory of Gabe's style here with this Thor, trying to get some early picks off. The Intoxicate at level 5 is going to be doing a lot of damage, and a lot of similar things going on between these two drafts thus far. You know, these late game hunters between Zap and Snoopy, one on the Ram, the other on Apollo. This is a very traditional old school matchup you would normally see in season 1 or 2 even.
Well, Eager's draft, they've got a ton of split push potential. That's one of the first things that jumps out to me. Apollo known for being a great split pusher because of that global ultimate, as well as Bastet. Even without those cats removing backdoor protections, it's still going to be pretty easy for djpernicus to find some split push in that on that character. Zapman in a little bit of trouble here on the left-hand side. Hasn't been forced into getting his dash quite yet. You see Snoopy immediately went into his astral arrows there, but Zap's going to stick around here. It's a little bit too late for him to be backing, and DJ's here with him on the left-hand side.
Apollo's definitely going to need a lot of help on the left after taking that much poke. He burned his only health potion. He does have Death Toll and the tier 1 of the Devil Gloves to give him a little bit of lifesteal, but whenever you're only a level 1 Apollo, you're not going to be hitting that hard to truly benefit off of that 7% lifesteal.
DJ is hanging out on the left-hand side here, which is very, very interesting. Hurriwind going to take a decent amount of damage in the middle lane as well. He doesn't have a starter item. Snoopy, it takes a lot of autos there from that Audacity passive. Everyone is just getting so low. Usually by the 41-second mark, there isn't a whole lot of player damage on the charts, but there is right now. Everyone's just trading poke back and forth.
djpernicus was receiving a lot of the minion aggro, which is why Zapman was freely hitting Snoopy in that regard. No more potions on the side of Snoopy either, so it's going to be evened out. Zapman should have a little bit more sustain now, especially considering he has a faster attack speed with the Audacity and with more lifesteal on the Devil 1 gloves.
DJ is able to hit level 2. Hurriwind dashes very, very risky, and Aror is going to be able to pick up that first blood with an easy pin. No problem whatsoever for the support player for Eager. That's one of the problems with Agni. You either don't clear and let the enemy team get pressure, or you make a high-risk play like that using your Path of Flames to try and clear the wave. Hurriwind pays for it.
Eager have been doing such a good job having Aurora roam around the map every single time on any warrior support that he plays, and this is the one benefit of having that warrior support is the fact that they're more beneficial in the early game than a lot of these Guardians. They do more damage with their in-hands. They're going to set you up quite well for these early first blood potentials.
Such an interesting start here for Eager, because you would assume that if djpernicus is on the left-hand side for the first 2 minutes of the game, and literally in lane with Zapman early on, that he would lose his buffs on the right, especially with something like a Terra solo that doesn't have a lot of pressure. But because of the composition that Eager's drafted and putting Aror in the middle lane, it holds in Memory of Gabe in that mid lane. It allows DJ to not really worry about his right side buffs. They're still both waiting for him.
It was only going to be an issue for Eager if Memory of Gabe can out-clear Eager in the mid lane. With Agni at level 2, it's not the easiest opportunity to really find that advantage, and which is why you see that early first blood with Aurora sitting in that lane. It's also going to be credited onto this warrior support, which is not the end of the world. A warrior support that gets first blood can really start snowballing very hard with it. Once he finishes off either warrior type or ninja type, he honestly doesn't matter. He's going to be making a bigger impact in the mid lane.
Absolutely. I mean, he's already made quite the impact with that first blood. Very surprised we haven't seen in Memory of Gabe head over to those right side buffs at all, instead deciding to four-way split the oracles to make sure that they secure that vision. A little bit worried about the rotation ability of Aror on that Erlang Shen. djpernicus on the Bastet, and of course that through space and time. Sometimes that's the best indicator that through space and time is coming to your lane, is when you look at the mini map and start to see those little connectors start appearing on the walls.
No matter what the vision is going to see, it's going to also manage to spot out the rotations from djpernicus. He's been sitting on the left-hand side for so long, and this is a matchup you cannot go left unchecked. Zapman and Snoopy have a lot of history between each other. Whenever Snoopy was during the COG Red days, and then Zapman was in Team Dignitas, there was a lot of back and forth action. Cynosure is level 5, and with those Oracle Visions, electing not to take the bite quite yet on the left-hand side, as Zapman was playing really far back.
He was thinking about it, and you could tell he wanted it, but with Hurriwind in base and TheBest being there in the middle lane with that global ultimate to kind of match any sort of gank potential, I think that's what made Cynosure. They're like, the Hurriwind would be their couple name, right?
It's like they basically fuse together.
Yeah, the
like
fusion
Dragon
dance.
Ball.
Yeah, like celebrity couples have their couple names. They're like Cynowind, something like that. You're not feeling that one?
No, I'm not feeling that one.
All
Aror
right.
is definitely feeling a lot of pain there from one bomb and the double tap coming out of Cynosure. And this is the pressure that Agni can provide to you once he hits level 5. Now he's a little bit more useful. He has more utility with the setup, and Bacchus is about to hit level 5, and that's going to be a lot of damage on the board for Memory of Gabe.
So Hurriwind neglects to go for a starter item in this game, totally, instead going for the Talon Trinket right off the bat. What's the trade-off there in the mid lane?
You're getting a lot of magical power, obviously. You're not really having a lot of sustain, though. You have a little bit of lifesteal, but whenever you... Same story goes for Zapman with the tier 1 Devil Gloves. That lifesteal with very little damage is not going to truly benefit you that early. You're mainly looking for that 60 magical power, which could be proved to be really useful at this stage. Once you finish off Shoes of the Magi, that penetration with the Talon Trinket, your bombs are going to start hurting really hard.
Very true, and on the other side, you see TheBest going for a Bumba's Mask with his Sands of Time. We've seen sub-mid laners ever since 4.3 hit, where the Bumba's Mask changes mean that only you don't need the last hits anymore to secure that that heal on both your health pool and your mana pool, but just being the closest member with Bumba's Mask whenever a jungle camp dies. Some mid laners have stopped going for the Bumba's Mask, others have continued to go for it, TheBest deciding that it still fits his playstyle. And it makes sense, with DJ not really being around the mid laner at all, someone may as well get that benefit of the Bumbas.
Exactly, it's Aror that's sitting down with TheBest, so he's going to get full benefit. Zapman's going in the sky, getting poked out is Hurro, and through space and time is used. These global ultimates, they're trying to find a second kill.
The dash not enough to create space for Hurriwind, and Zapman picks up the second kill. Eonic left all alone in the jungle, and Zap's gonna get himself a double for his ultimate. 3-0 Eager in the lead, and it looks like they may want to try and start up this Gold Fury. Cynosure's ultimate is down, and that's really the best contested in Memory of Gabe have, but Eager instead just electing to pick up those oracles and move on to farming.
Slow and steady. Without the kitties to tank the Gold Fury at the 6-minute mark, it makes it a little bit more difficult to truly get this objective. It still does a lot of damage before you have a lot of defenses and health online, especially on the side of Aror, to truly tank the Gold Fury. You don't have that much damage to burn it quick enough either. So
I mentioned this earlier in that in 4.3, pets no longer remove backdoor protection on the towers, and that one of the biggest characters affected by that is Bastet. Her ultimate no longer removing those backdoor protections, which means that her split push is significantly worse. It's still good because it still tanks the tower for you, and you're building a lot of penetration on Bastet anyways, but it's not nearly as potent. So Bastet gets a buff to compensate a little bit more damage on that open wounds passive of hers. I do think the Bastet could be a real sleeper pick in the jungle. We saw how much damage that she did to Hurriwind there that sets up that entire chain of events for Eager. Do you think Bastet could become a top-tier jungler in terms of just raw damage output?
Absolutely. Looking at the player damage charts, the Bastet is currently 3rd with that rotation from Zapman being able to clean up so many kills. It was actually DJ ahead of Zapman for a little bit longer, and that was only with tier 2 boots at the time, level 6 Bastet onto a level 6 Agni. And this is something that Memory of Gabe is going to have to be very careful about their positioning. Going to have to ward everywhere around the map, because this Bastet is going to be looking for more plays. Now going to go for the Heartseeker, going to have even more mobility on top of it.
So DJ going to have to change up his playstyle a little bit, though, not being able to rely on that split push potential quite as much. But if there's a jungler who seems adaptable, I think DJ would be near the top of that list.
Even if Bastet doesn't kill towers in about 2 or 3 seconds, it's still going to be very impactful towards getting towers low. You might not be able to get it in 1 shot, but you certainly can get it into 2. So slow and steady is Eager's game plan, and this is something that they've been practicing in, time out, and they're very comfortable running strategies that no team has even thought about.
Zapman has already got 49 stacks on that Devourer's Gauntlet. I think that's why you see him think about pulling that Gold Fury. Doesn't have enough lifesteal to not take any damage from it, but still has enough to make it so he wouldn't be very low HP, would need a little bit of help, wouldn't be able to solo it quite yet. We haven't really touched on this solo lane at all, because this has been exactly what Divios wants to do, is just hang out and have it be a very quiet solo lane. Meanwhile, Zapman quietly trying to do this Gold Fury, but the rest of In Memory of Gabe is close enough to make him drop it.
Zapman's so far ahead of Snoopy, 2 levels ahead. It's because DJ has been applying pressure into this left-hand side. Snoopy was trying to do the purple buff while Zapman already pushed a wave, and Snoopy neglected to even go into the tower to get the wave, because if he did, he wouldn't be in position to contest that Gold Fear that Zapman was trying to do. He was level 11 with a red buff currently, just faded away now, and that was something that Eager could have elected to do if they wanted to, especially considering djpernicus does have the kitties to tank that Gold Fury.
And this is a really bad spot for Snoopy, because he's not finished off his Devourer's Gauntlets yet, and Zapman has, and not only has he finished them, but he's basically 60 stacks in as eager to secure the Oracles there around the Gold Fury. And whenever you go against another hunter that is going for the Devourer's Gauntlets rush, and you're planning to go for Devourer's Gauntlets as well, you really need to take that boxing fight right as you finish your boots, because that's at your strongest, because now Zapman is significantly ahead in his build.
It's all about the mobility versus the lifesteal. Snoopy wasn't truly able to take advantage of that small timing window, and with the rotation from Zapman finding those 2 kills, it allowed him to finish it at a much quicker, accelerated rate that Snoopy would have definitely liked to have witnessed in the laning phase. So that's going to allow Zapman to continue this pressure, and like I mentioned before, djpernicus has just not left this left-hand side. It's been Aror sitting in mid, DJ sitting in the left, and this is why Eager have slowly but surely built themselves about a 2,500 gold lead without any Gold Furies or any towers.
In Memory of Gabe just seems uncharacteristically passive to me. It would be kind of my assessment of their play so far in Game 1 here. Whenever I think of In Memory of Gabe doing really well, it's Cynosure and Whalrus end up getting very far ahead on the right-hand side. Cynosure in particular is allowed to play very, very aggressively on gods like Serket, and that's allowed, and In Memory of Gabe is excellent at maintaining and controlling a lead. But right now, they're just kind of letting Eager throw their weight around. We haven't really seen a response from them quite yet.
The problem is going against Eager, it's very difficult with their global presence between TheBest playing Janus, Zapman playing this Apollo, as well as Divios on this Terra can just throw out his ultimate to basically allow Eager to win these team fights very convincingly, though. Left-hand side.
Cyno was looking for Zap, but Zap knew it all along, and Cyno went up right on top of that ward in the left side jungle. And Zapman continues to really have control of this lane. Cynosure, again, at bottom of the net worth, actually, even below Eonic on the Bacchus, just hasn't been able to make an impact so far.
And like I was mentioning before about the difference of these team compositions, the aggressiveness from Memory of Gabe hasn't been shown, but they still have true potential between this Thor, Agni, and Bacchus. The damage will come online once Agni gets those level 2 bombs, gets some more penetration involved in his build, and once they find one target from Eager out of position with the Bacchus Intoxicate, that's going to truly open the door for them.
Whalrus has hit level 13, giving him an extra relic choice, and he's gone for the Sunder, which we've seen Whalrus go for pretty consistently. In Memory of Gabe seemed to really like having that extra damage option out of the solo laner, not only for himself, but for the team to really punch through this tanky solo lane Terra, potentially.
That's definitely the goal. You're taking away the sustain option. Best taking a lot of poke just like that. He has to use the beats. Terra's blessing to get him out of danger through space and time used offensively.
Trying to make sure he picks up on Cynosure, but on the left-hand side, Snoopy's in a lot of trouble, trying to put out as much damage as he can before he inevitably falls once he lands. Zapman, 3 out of 4 kills for Eager, going the way of the Hunter and Owner.
Oh, DJ's not done. He's going to dive under the tier 1 tower, getting his scratches off onto Hurriwind, and Eonic. Divios is here as well. He could look to put a lot of pressure in mid, and this is going to allow Eager to start up this Gold Fury.
Now Zapman's got that Devourer's Gauntlet complete, so he can tank up this Gold Fury no problem whatsoever. DJ drops the kitties, and Gold Fury goes Eager's way, no problem whatsoever. 12 minutes in, and Eager really controlling this game at a much faster pace than we're used to seeing even them control games. Usually Eager likes to be very calm and wait it out, wait for 1 or 2 mistakes, but In Memory of Gabe has really allowed Eager, in my mind, to just throw their weight around and take this lead.
A Memory of Gabe is not a team that can easily lose the game without taking something back in return. Normally, if they're losing one side of the map, they're going to grab something in return. You know, Portal Demon is still up, and they elected not to go for it, recognizing, you know, Eager is clearly going to the goal here. Divios makes the rotation from right to middle to left. It was a pretty telltale sign, and Memory of Gabe elected to just give up the Portal Demon on top of this, not maximizing any true potential to come back.
That looked like it was going to be a great engagement for In Memory of Gabe, poking out the best very, very early on, getting him low due to some poor pathing by him, but the problem is that Snoopy, again, left alone on this left-hand side. DJ has just been setting up a tent in that left side jungle, hanging out in Snoopy's lane, and it's really caused problems for In Memory of Gabe.
And this is something that DJ doesn't always do. He doesn't always sit in the dual lane.
Yeah.
He's going to mix it up game in and game out. And sometimes we'll see Eager sit 3 people in mid just to make sure Best is going to be in a good spot, and then Divios and Zapman are going to do their things in the side lane. And then once these team fights happen, Eager always seem to manage to come out on top, but either way, mixing things up with doing a 2-2-1 strategy instead, Eager have always making teams keep guessing.
So totally, we talk about that all the time when it comes to Eager. They're always making teams guessing. No one knows how to prepare for them. If you were still playing and you were going up against your former teammate in Zapman, how would you prepare?
I would just try to look for wherever DJ is and make sure he's not getting into an early lead. Make sure wherever side of the map he is, you ward that side of the map, and you're going to, especially if he's playing the Bastet, he's just going to be looking for kills non-stop. This is something that Bastet really thrives off of, that early damage before gods get naturally tanky because of just how high base damage that Bastet can truly provide to your team.
Not only that, but that open wounds passive again, getting a buff recently, doing 20% more damage after you hit someone with an ability is really easy way to rack up those damage numbers, and Snoopy can absolutely tell you about that. Aror gonna eat a flop there in the middle lane. Hurriwind forced to dash away. And even though DJ didn't hit his scratchies, as you like to call him, that D-Claw already a big damage boost at this stage in the game.
Zapman is going to be able to get this left-hand tower. Best taking a lot of damage. Going to miss out the unstable Vortex, portaling on through. Auror's going to do some damage in return. Actually still diving that and tanking it, no problem. Despite not having too much physical defense, having Mark of the Vanguard, having only the tier 1 of that Iron Mail. Hurriwind dashes in.
They're looking for him, and Aror is all alone, but Hurriwind can't find the stun, and Hurricwind Aror rather is going to be just fine. He does feel very tanky at this stage in the game, despite having a whole lot of defense.
That was really risky for Hurriwind to dash in there, considering Eager has Janus ultimate and the Apollo ultimate. That could have been an easy kill for them if they elected to just use one or the other.
Through space and time, not going to hit anybody, but it's there to support Aror, and Eonic's going to fall. It looks like it's a 1-on-3, but it's all of a sudden Eager's got the numbers. Zapman's here as well. Cynosure uses his relics. The last auto isn't going to do it, but Divios crushes 2 with the Crushing Earth, and Divios making an impact on his first real rotation out of that solo lane. And Memory of Gabe just cannot handle Team Eager right now.
Mark Maloney is here, though. He's going to go into the big baby. He tried to get the best out of the team fight. It's going to be Snoopy in there. He finds 2. He misses the 3rd, though. And Best is going to be able to walk away from that one. Eager not done yet. They found the tier 1. They're going for the tier 2. It's only Snoopy and Whalrus, but Eonic has made the revival, but he doesn't have Intoxicate to truly hold this one.
And he's only level 9. Zapman 16, DJ 13, Divios 16. I mean, these guys are such a high level that even if Eonic did have that Intoxicate, I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. 7-0 Team Eager blanking in Memory of Gabe 16 minutes in, and it's just the ever-changing strategies of Eager keeping teams on their toes. So difficult to game plan against him.
And DJ hasn't even been able to necessarily get all these kills to get himself a lead over Cynosure, really. Level 13, both of these junglers, the rest of them have been getting a huge lead on the side of Eager, and specifically Zapman, 2 levels lead over Snoopy. Still doing a good job as Eager as they manage to even steal away this portal demon, finding Hurriwind. Cynosure's going to have to escape defensively, but Zapman is in the sky.
Cyno went back in, and Best cleans him up very easily. The last 3 members of the Memory of Gabe trying to retreat, but Zapman is here. Divios finds Snoopy as well. Best with through space and time hits Eonic, isn't able to pick him up in.
Surrender a 17 minutes. Memory of Gabe down 10,000 gold, and truly, honestly, mentally, that was very taxing for them. I respect that surrender because at that point there was no coming back.
I mean, 10-0, Eager just controlling the map, and it's not like Eager had an all early game composition. Their comp just kept getting better as the game went on, really. I mean, Zapman was massive. He's going to be able to be one of the best late game hyper carries on Apollo. Divios on Terra, so difficult to deal with that in the late game as well. For me, totally, that just feels like that drafting phase. In Memory of Gabe came in with a plan. We ban out Best, we pick away Janus, and we win the game. They wanted to put Best on Scylla, is my guess, and then Best just takes Janus, and Memory of Gabe goes,
We've been through this before.
oops.
We've been through this before, but heading it.